Hi everyone, greetings from National Skills Network. I'm back again with another very interesting conversation, and this time we are going to look at important aspects of what it means to enroll for technical training and technical training which has a valid certification and also connects with multiple careers. So if you have been following us on YouTube, please watch this till the end. And in case you're watching this for the first time, I would request you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any update from us. So let me get started by introducing the guest today. So we have with us Mr. Shankar G, who's the Head of Faculty Development at NTTF. So welcome to this conversation, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madhuri.
Thank you, sir, for giving us your time. And as I was just mentioning, the importance of technical training today is a lot dependent on certifications. A certification in technical training today is very critical because when students get certified, they should know that it is from a very valid and authorized institution where they are doing the training. Now, sir, please let us know in the backdrop of NTTF, being recognized as an awarding body and assessment agency with NCVET. What are some of the benefits of this recognition for students who enroll in NTTF courses?
Even Madhuri, with respect to that, just speak with respect to NTTF initially, what are the benefits and other thing. And of course, it is applicable to any other institution as well. NTTF has been in the skilling of the youth for more than about 60 years now.
Yeah.
And if you look at the NTTF, we call ourselves as really dynamic in skill ecosystem because we take the requirement from the industry. What type of skills are prevailing? What is the demand for the skills that are coming up? So we take the details from there. We make our technical or the skill curriculum and deliver it to the students. At the end of the 1 year, or some courses are 1 year, some of them are smaller. And of course, our major one is the diploma for 3 years. So we were giving the diploma. And since it was industry aligned, industries were accepting the NTTF, have been accepting the NTTF certificate for more than 60 years. So if you look at the placement record, yes, it was going on absolutely fine, near 100%, somewhat. I mean, you can say more than 90% to 100. So placements have been going on. So industry has been accepting that. But however, one point which you brought out that there has to be some standardization.
Yeah.
Second is it should also have come some kind of a stamp by an authority, especially from the government of India.
Right.
So, and that is a particular thing which got fulfilled because of the NCVET.
Yeah.
So this NCVET, National Council for Vocational and Educational Training, this was established by combining two regulatory bodies. One was NSDA, National Skill Development Agency, and the NCVT, National Council for Vocational Training. Now, these two were combined and added one more word, education. That NCVT, vocational training, became vocational and educational training. So, if you look at the name itself, it is trying to combine the skill training with the educational training.
Right.
That's what is brought about there.
Yeah.
So the NEP 2020, which was released by the government of India, laid a lot of stress on the skills. See, it's for the industry to develop and the India to grow in economy. The industry requires particular skill sets, and these are dynamic skill sets because almost every year as the technology grows, these skill requirements are changing. Right? And at the same time, they do require an educational qualification, maybe like a diploma and subsequent, even 12th standard or even graduation, post-graduation, PGs, and even the doctorate. Even they're also required. But however, skill is more important in working in that particular industry than a generic educational qualification. So that's where this NCVT identified some of the skill champions institutions in India, government as well as certain private institutions, and gave them an autonomous kind of a thing called awarding body.
Yeah.
That is, since we have been going to the industry, we continue to go to the industry, get the requirement, and write down a curriculum how a student should be trained so that he is straight away employable in particular industry for a set of job skills or a particular job skill. So all our qualifications, when you write, now we are submitting to the government of India, the regulatory body called NCVET, and they have their own stakeholders like various other institutions, sector skills. So entire curriculum is completely seen in depth about its validity, correctness, and applicability. And then they give approval to our qualifications. So
Yeah.
that means now we are very sure what curriculum training we are giving to our students. It is not only accepted by the industry, now it is in alignment with the National Education Policy of 2020, which is through the NCVET. So that is one plus point which NTTF got as an awarding body.
Yeah.
The second point was about the assessment agency. We are a dual recognized awarding body as well as assessment agency. Now,
Right.
awarding body only defines the curriculum. What all should be taught, how number of hours, what all technology should be included. But what is more important is have the students been actually trained and assessed. And this is quite an important one. Now, training, there are three entities in this. One is the awarding body, which defines the qualification of the curriculum to be carried out or the training to be carried out. Second one is the training entity where somebody is actually training the students. And there should be a third body which is assessing the amount of assimilation and the skill learned by the students. Now, these three entities should preferably be autonomous in their own operations separately. And that's what NCVET does. And this NTTF now, under one umbrella, it has got three autonomous bodies working under it.
Yeah.
So therefore, now we have our own assessment agency, which works autonomous. It doesn't take any input from our side, from our awarding body. It only takes the guidelines and the implementation is purely their own idea, assessment agency. So now NTTF has got awarding body as well as assessment agency. And for the last 60 years, we were also having the training entities. Now we have all three under one umbrella. This is where NTTF has now got benefited with this particular thing.
Yes, so that's really nice to know because you just mentioned some very important aspects of how important recognition from the government is alongside the industry recognition which you have had for the last several decades. And I'm sure with this now the students are going to benefit in certain ways. So maybe you can spell out few key benefits for students who enroll for different diploma programs from NTTF.
Let me say by saying this way, how students are benefited is your major question. Now, if you look at the previous ever education policy before this NEP 2020, we were more interested in what we want to teach the students as an institution,
Yeah.
whether it is a 10th standard, 11th or 12th standard. So, and it remains in that particular syllabus for a number of years. Right? Whereas the industry requires a particular skill. For example, CNC operator, CNC setter, carpenter, or a lathe machine operator. It can be problem solver, C++ a program writer in Python. It requires specialized skills. Whereas the education system was trying to teach almost everything like a jack of all trades. This is how it was going on before NEP 2020. Now, with this NCVT, you've seen the word VET, vocational and educational
Yeah.
training. It tries to combine vocational and educational. That means he has got a theoretical knowledge which was existing before NEP 2020, and now they also learn certain skills. So
Yeah.
these two can be embedded together through this NCVT curriculum that is defining. That's how it becomes important for students to enroll into a institution which is actually NCVT aligned there.
Right.
Right. So NCVT aligned, in fact, NCVT has come, even UGC, AICT, they all have a particular understanding with each other. So the guidelines which have been framed are applicable in UGC, AICT, NCVT. In fact, all regulatory bodies across the government agencies. Now, one of the biggest advantages how the students tend to gain in this. Let me say, what income should I get in next 10 years?
Yes.
Right. So it is going by what I want in my life and see what I want to learn. Earlier, what used to happen was I'll complete 12th standard, I'll do engineering, then I'll have to search for a job. Let me see which job will I get. So this was the trend.
Yeah.
Now with this, I can plan myself. Okay, next 10 years, this should be my income. My interest lies in this particular skill.
Mm.
So I should home on to that particular skill. Along with this, since a society does require certification of 12th standard, diploma, or graduation, I need that also. So I need both the things. One for the society purpose, second is for my earning the living in industry, or let's say I want to start my own industry tomorrow. I entrepreneurship. So I
Yeah.
need to get particular skills, which more in depth as a specialization in that particular field. Maybe like a CNC, a programmer, or a tool maker. That is a specialization. However, I can still go for a Bachelor of Engineering or Technology. I can still go for that. I can have both of this together. And that's what NCVT allows us to do.
Yeah.
Question is, how does it allow? Unlike in the past. See, in the past, if a student joins an institution, let us say he joins BTech
Mm.
graduation. 4 years he's studying there itself. He cannot learn anything else extra. Yes, through the self-interest he may learn, but there's nobody to certify that he has learned.
Yes.
Self-learned, self-expert, nothing else. Whereas NCVT, actually you can simultaneously learn from multiple
Mm.
institutions. You can choose one particular field in a diploma or a 12th standard. Simultaneously, I can take a skilling training, maybe even online. There are many software based skill trainings. I can even register onto one of them, learn that skill, get it assigned. I also get the certificate from NCVT for that particular skill, along with my learning, which I'm doing regularly. The second part is in India, if you look at especially at the lower status who work in the industry, they do have a lot of family issues in terms of finance. So
Mm.
many a times, or due to whatever home issue, they need to take a break sometimes in their learning curriculum.
Yeah.
NCVT encourages that.
Mm.
They can do a particular course, for example, in our own NTTF diploma course, which is of 3 years. They can do 1 year. In case there's a requirement from him for his family issues or whatever issue, he can take a certificate, maybe work in the industry or work at home or whatever it is. He can have a 1 year or 2 years break and come back and join in the second year. So
Yeah.
whatever he has learned earlier, it still holds good.
Right.
Only NCVT has given overall that you should complete this diploma in 7 years, which is
Mm.
got a more than double the tenure. So they got a multiple entry,
Mm.
multiple exit provision in NCVT. The
Right.
next part is like I said, he can learn in one institution like NTTF. He can do online some certain sites like Coursera or
Yeah.
even like some of the Wadhwani institutions or Infosys Springboard sites are there where they can learn certain skills like problem solving, health side, right? So even the software side, they can learn on their own.
Yes.
No, those credits can be taken even into NTTF.
Right.
For example, we have one subject, let us say one subject we have on problem solving.
Mm.
So let us say he even goes into one of these portals, online portals, and learns problem solving techniques there and
Yeah.
gets a certificate from there. We can recognize the certificate in NTTF and make it part of a diploma curriculum, but transfer of credits.
Mm.
So this NCVT gives another facility called as transfer of credits. This is defined under another guideline called as NCRF,
Right.
National Credit
Framework.
Framework.
Yeah.
So the student can learn whatever skills he wants from various locations, from various institutions. It can be self-learning, it can be online, it can be blended, it can be class attended, it can even be working in an industry.
Mm.
For example, last 2 weeks back, I had gone to one industry there for some work. When I was talking to the employee, there were three ITI students
Okay.
who were self-learning CNC programming.
Hmm.
They did not study this in ITI. They had only studied operation of conventional machines like lathe and other machines, but not CNC. In that industry, for the last 3 years, they have been operating CNC, and someone has been guiding them. A supervisor has been guiding them to learn how to do the CNC programming. And for the last 3 years, they have learned. Now,
Mm.
question is, it doesn't appear in their certificate now.
Right.
These students can actually go to any of the AB, like even our NTTF, like a awarding body or assessment agency. They can come back, give an assessment, and we say, yes, he has learned. We give a certificate. This certificate is valid across every institution in India and as well as the industry. It becomes a government valued one. He has self-learned.
Yeah.
So this is by credit transfer how the students get benefited in this.
Yes. So I think you have actually touched upon quite a few important benefits for students. I would just like to summarize them for the benefit of our audience. One was the most important was the recognition itself, which is government recognition, which is going to open up new avenues for them when they have this particular certification. And then, the second one is the multiple entry exit, which is like the giving some bit of flexibility for students so that they can continue. That's another very important thing. And also now you just mentioned about the recognition of something like a, as we say, RPL, or recognition of prior
RPS, that is called
learning.
recognition of prior learning.
Yeah, which has happened at self-initiative, which is so good. And once that gets into, an assessment system and they get awarded, as you rightly mentioned, with the credit framework, the NCRF, when all these are getting implemented, I'm sure a lot of students are going to benefit, especially like you mentioned, the VET part, right? The vocational education and training. So to emphasize, I would again like to reiterate that here in this conversation with Mr. Shankar, we are discussing about the importance of applied learning, actually. It is not theoretical learning. That is where the vocational education and training comes into the picture. And we are looking specifically at technical training, which is demand driven, which is specific to the job roles that are emerging in the industry. Now, sir, one more important point which I would like to know from you is the tendency for many students in India, as we know, is to go in one path, like after 10th, 12th, or PUC, or whichever, or 12th class, or one of those. Depending on the state board or CBSE or any of these. And then they look for either engineering or any of the other streams, which could be humanities. But how many students know about the 10 plus 3 plus 3 system, where you have an option after 10th, you can get into a diploma, and that diploma actually prepares you better for a job and employability and placement, and makes you better in many ways to be industry ready, and alongside opens ways to get into, let's say, courses like BTech. So there are pathways coming up here. So can you please tell us in detail about how this system works, 10 plus 3 plus 3?
Okay, before reaching that, actually, let me phrase one more aspect in the life of human being, especially I'm talking about the students.
Yeah.
That is, when I look at the future, am I looking through apprehension or anticipation?
Hmm.
Apprehension means I'll just complete my 10th standard, 12th standard, go for some graduation, maybe even further studies, and then look what job can I get. This is apprehension. I have apprehension. If I go for this particular BTech, let us say in computers, I'll get this kind of a job. If I take computer science, it will be different. Computer engineering will be different. If I take mechatrons, it will be different. So there is an apprehension.
Hmm.
The second one is anticipation.
Hmm.
This is where I want to land up.
Okay.
This is where I want to know. I want to go on mechanical stream. I want to go on IT side. I want to go on programming side or a commercial, maybe business marketing side. This is anticipation. I'll anticipate where I want to reach.
Hmm.
And based on that, I plan my growth, education. This is where actually NCVT comes handy with even 10 plus 3 plus 3.
Hmm.
Up to 10th standard anyway, that's required. So let me not touch that part up to 10th. After completing 10th, they've got a choice of 11th, 12th, and then going for BTech. Now, 11th and 12th are a generic subjects the same. It has got mathematics, it has got English, it has got some of them have got biology, some of course take the commerce, science is there. So it's got a multiple once again in generalization, right? Now, second option is going for a particular skill. So when
Right.
we look at our own life, what we want to do is one question is what should I do in my life? Maybe like a work,
Mm.
right? Second one is why should I do and how?
Mm.
Or how, or let us say, going more into the depth with respect to the design or understanding the science behind it. Actually, both are important. What actually gives us livelihood is what I can really do with my own hands
Mm.
or with my own skill sets. So that's what this 10 plus 3, which is the diploma, teaches you more towards a practical oriented one.
Yeah.
Once I left in the practical oriented one in 10 plus 3, 70% of the curriculum is practical based.
Right.
Where we teach how to do a thing. It may be even in computer programming, how to program it. Whether it is operating a machine, how to operate a machine. If it is marketing, how to market a product. It is dealing with how for these 3 years. So
Yes.
once the completion of 3 years, no, the student has got a choice to start earning
Mm.
in case required. Or better, actually, he goes for earning. One is he gets money. Second, he gets the industry experience straight away after 10 plus 3.
Mm.
Once based on the industry experience and his caliber alignment, that is his own ability. Every student, every person has got certain abilities and interest in certain aspects. Some are carpenter, some are electrician, some like the software, some like a marketing, basically talking around, some like the soft skills. So by the time we do understand when you are working in industry, I am meant for which kind of a work,
Yeah.
right? So after having 1 or 2 years of experience and knowing actually which direction should I take,
Yeah.
if I now choose the BTech,
Mm.
right, actually be more beneficial. Then BTech will have a meaning because I have already built the base. Now
Mm.
on that base, I'm going to develop my science part of it
Mm.
as to why does it work this way? How can I make it more efficient? How can I bring in new ideas into the product which I'm already doing? So it finds a particular direction when it's doing a BTech
Yeah.
after having done diploma.
Mm.
So the diploma gives the 3 years a complete base and sets the life. And 3 years after that, BTech actually help the student to develop. At the same time, he is getting even settled in life much. Within 3 years, he's settling after 10th standard. Whereas now, if you do a BTech, he has to finish 2 years of PU,
Yeah.
4 years of graduation, that is 6 years, and even at the end of it, in fact, most of the industries want him to learn a skill and come back. So they again have to spend 3 to 6 months in learning some specialization and going, which is almost about 6.5 years. Whereas if you take 10 plus 3 plus 3, after 3 years itself, he is completely employable.
Yeah.
That's a big advantage they get there.
Yeah, in fact, like you mentioned just now, even after doing BTech, like completing 6 years with the skill training, still, I don't think there is a guarantee that, they will fit into a job immediately. Whereas here in the 10 plus 3 plus 3, when they are already diploma holders, I'm sure there's more clarity, more hands-on experience. The path which they have taken prepares them better. And I think that's what will give them much more confidence and also lead them to sustainable kind of jobs in future. And you also mentioned entrepreneurship, which could also be an option for many of them, right after this.
Even the data released recently by the government of India
Yeah.
about unemployability.
Hmm.
The percentage of unemployability of the graduates is much more than a diploma students. And
Right.
if I remember the numbers, it is around 5% or something that way. The people who had done diploma and remained unemployable in some way. It is
Hmm.
very, very low compared to the engineering ones.
Yes. Yeah, so this is a very important fact. And now I think for us, the challenge is to spread the word. And I hope with this conversation, we are able to create more awareness. And in addition, we also learned about the importance and the significance of having NCVET, certification and going to institutions that are already recognized as awarding body by NCVET. These are all important developments which have happened in the skilling and technical training ecosystem in India very recently. And I'm so glad that we have learned in detail from Sir today about all these aspects. So is there anything else you wish to share?
I'd like to touch here because this has been recently been made as a policy that every student, it is basically now called as one nation, one student. And
Hmm.
like we have one Aadhaar card,
Yeah.
which uniquely identifies our biometric or addresses and various information.
Hmm.
There is an APAR card, which
Hmm.
every student is supposed to have. Automated permanent academic account registry. APAR ID, which is again a 12-digit one. In this particular APAR ID is linked with the DigiLocker.
Hmm.
So whatever certification we get, either from an institute, it can be from any of the AA or AB certified certificate. It may be online, it may be offline, it may be like a recognition of prior learning, only go through assessment. All of them will be entered in the academic bank of credit
Yeah.
using this particular APAR ID. So it becomes a very important document. Uh, so all this NCR which was talking about credit transfer takes place through this ABC, Academic Bank of Credit, using this particular individual ID. So
Hmm.
this is one of the big integration of the all the education institutions as well as skill training institutions are coming under one particular umbrella and one particular like a big tree there and
Hmm.
linked by APAR ID there.
Yeah. I think that's a very important development and good that you mentioned it. It's definitely going to transform the way we look at education, training, skilling, and connect it with jobs, livelihoods, and various other options like entrepreneurship for every individual to feel free, learn and grow. So I think on that message, I would like to thank you, sir, for giving us your time today. And we would like to be connected with you to learn more from you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
So if you find this conversation useful, and I'm sure you would have already picked up very important aspects of NCVET, technical training and other aspects, do share this video in your network with your friends or any students or anybody else who would be benefited. We would be very glad if you could do that and share your queries and questions in the comments. Thank you once again.